This water was completely clean when we started.
Right, I remember.
Watch.
Can you believe that this came out of my body?
This is the ionizer. So the electricity runs through these plates, and that creates electricity, and that ionic charge is, distributed throughout the water, and that goes in through your feet, and then that gets in your body and creates what we call peritoneal dialysis. There's also Himalayan salt in the water, but just notice how clear the water is now.
So what's the entire idea behind the process for?
So it's called peritoneal dialysis. Your cells have a polarity that's a voltage gated polarity, and this is the sodium potassium pumps, the channels. Okay, so sodium goes in, potassium comes out, and then things can cross the membrane of the cell, energy gets in, the cells make proteins and they produce waste, and so those wastes have to be able to come out, but toxins can get into the cells and disrupt the production of proteins. Each cell is responsible for making up to 10,000 different types of proteins. And so when the cells are toxified, they start misfolding the proteins, and that's when disease starts happening in your body. Because in the process of toxification, you have the autoregulatory system, which is your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, your skin, and that's like how most of the toxins get out of your body. But when you get overburdened and those things can't remove what's coming in, then it goes into the secondary detoxification pathway, which is the space in between the cells. We call that the interstitial fluids. And what your body basically does is it starts kind of like making scar tissues around those toxins to kind of store them. Like a spider might capture 5 flies today, but it's only going to eat one of them, so it'll wrap the other 4 flies in spider web and store it off on the side. And so your body's kind of doing that to like process these toxins. And so they can get stored in your organs, they can get stored in the spaces in between your cells, and then when that secondary detoxification place gets clogged up, then the third level is your cells. So now it's got nowhere else to go but inside your cells, and your cells aren't designed to be garbage pails. They're designed to make proteins and to be very highly bioactive and make energy, like ATP energy. You give them food, the mitochondria, they take oxygen and food and they make energy, and then your body uses that energy to build proteins like collagen and things like that, your nerves and things like that, regenerate bone tissues and all that. But when your body becomes toxified, then those cells are burdened and they're chugging along and they're not operating efficiently. And then add to that dehydration that most people are suffering from and having poor food. So they're poisoning themselves with the food they're eating. They're poisoning themselves from the food and air that they're breathing and the water they're drinking. And even toxic thoughts can have a big, impact on the process. And so the cells are kind of caught in the crossfire. And what this process basically does is it instead of like we're trying to, like imagine like you just stuffed so much in your mouth and you're like, right. This process is kind of like, and you're spitting it back out again. So your cells are going to start activating the removal of those waste products and toxic burdens. But it's also not just, getting stuff out, it's putting that ionic energy into your body.
Oh, so it's a double.
Yeah. So it's, the charge is going up through your feet into your body and clearing your cells out, and then your cells are excreting those wastes through your feet.
The first
You're
thing
going to be excreting them through your lungs and through your, your waste products. And so, we can see this process, but for, several days after you do the foot bath, your body's in an excretion mode. It's detoxifying. Those things are going to continue to come out, and that's why we recommend the clay powder, moving your body, getting some exercise, because that pumps the lymphatic system, and that drains the lymphatic system is only pumped. Imagine, when you had to go outside the farmhouse and pump the water handle to get the water to come out. Well, your lymphatic system is kind of like that. If you're sitting around all day long and your muscles aren't contracting and relaxing and expanding, then your lymphatic system is going to become congested. This is after 35 minutes, and Yeah, what we did is we took the water optimizer out, but there was a lot of really foamy dark green and brown and orange and yellow kind of junk, and you can really, if you look closely, you can see it all floating in the water, and you can hardly even see the toes over here on this side. You can't even see the foot anymore. So it was a really interesting process of elimination. So some of the benefits are release of muscle aches and joint pains, a feeling of lightness and a better ability to cope with life, increased mental clarity, better sleep, better circulation. You'll absorb more of the nutrition from food and supplements that you take. It'll remove some heavy metals. It'll reduce swelling and inflammation and promote faster healing. It'll create a gradual stimulation of the immune system so that it functions more efficiently. That's what we're talking about, like the lymphatic system, because when you remove the waste that's collected, it's like throwing the trash out, putting a new fresh bag in there. There's no trash in it. It's all clean. Okay. And then it's also a means of cleansing the body naturally at your body's own pace.
Thank you, Doc. I feel great. You can feel great too. Just give the doc a call or go to quantumactivationcenter.com and book an appointment.